I want to start this episode with something I've heard more times than I can count over the past year. Ayo, my learners are using ChatGPT. I don't know whether I should allow it, ban it, or pretend it's not happening. And every time I hear that, I think the same thing. This isn't really a ChatGPT problem. This is a digital literacy problem because learners have always used tools. Google, spell check, templates, YouTube videos, friends who are better writers than them. ChatGPT has just made the support more visible. Welcome back to I'm No Ricky. I'm really glad that you are here for this one because this conversation is coming up everywhere right now, and a lot of educators are quietly feeling unsure about how to handle it. So today I want to slow this right down and talk it through properly, not from a tech expert point of view and not from a panic or fear-based place, but from the perspective of real teaching, real learners, and real classrooms. If you are teaching adults, vocational learners, or people who are changing careers, you will already know this. Most learners are not trying to cheat, they are trying to cope. They are balancing work, family, deadlines, confidence issues, and often a fear of academic writing. When something like ChatGPT comes along and promises quick answers, of course, they're going to try it out. The issue is not that they are using it, the issue is that many of them do not understand what it is doing, how it works, or how to use it properly. The gap is what digital literacy looks like right now. Digital literacy used to mean knowing how to use things like email, how to search the internet, or how to tell whether a website was reliable. Now, digital literacy also includes understanding AI generated content. It means understanding the difference between a tool for support and using it as a substitute for thinking. ChatGPT can produce text that sounds confident, professional, but sounding confident doesn't mean it is correct, relevant, or appropriate for the qualification being studied. Learners need to be taught how to recognize a difference. So let me give you a real kind of teaching example because I know that this will sound familiar. A learner submits an assignment, it reads well, the language sounds academic, the structure looks right. On the surface, it feels like a strong piece of work. But then you ask them a simple follow-up question. You ask them to explain a concept they wrote about, or you ask them how it links to their own practice. And suddenly they struggle. I explain it in their own words, they cannot connect to it through raw experience, and they cannot tell you why they included certain points in their assignment. This is not lack of ability, this is a lack of digital literacy. They have used the tool without understanding how to actually work with it. So, how I talk to learners about ChatGPT, I'm very open with learners about AI tools, and I think that honesty actually helps them feel safer. I explain ChatGPT like this. I tell them it's a language tool, not a thinking tool. It predicts text based on patterns. It does not know the qualification, the assessment brief, or the marking criteria. It does not know what their tutor expects, and it also doesn't know their real life experience. I know some of this you can actually plug and play into an AI tool, but these are important things to understand. Once learners understand that, their behavior changes. They stop seeing ChatGPT as a shortcut and start seeing it as something that can support their thinking, not replace it. So it's so important to be teaching learners how to use it properly. This is where teaching digital literacy becomes very practical. I encourage learners to use ChatGPT to break down those difficult questions, to give them clarity, especially if there's unfamiliar terminology, or to help them organize their ideas. But I'm also very clear about one thing. They should never submit anything they cannot explain. I often say to them, if I ask you about this in a feedback session, you should be able to talk about it freely. That single expectation changes how learners use AI. Another key part of digital literacy is teaching learners to question what the tool produces. I encourage them to ask, does this actually answer the question I've been set? Is this written at the right level for this qualification? Does this reflect real practice or is it just generic theory? Where can I add my own example or experience? Start asking those questions, then move away from copying and towards understanding. This is the shift we are aiming for. A lot of misuse of AI comes from fear rather than dishonesty, fear of failing, fear of sounding not academic enough, fear of being judged. If our response is only rules and punishment, we miss the opportunity to teach. Digital literacy also means explaining what is acceptable and what needs to be referenced and where the learner's own voice must be visible. When expectations are clear, confidence increases and integrity improves naturally. Here's a quick thank you from Developing Educators Academy for supporting this episode. If you already teaching, training, or thinking about stepping into education, the Level 3 Award in Education and Training supports you in understanding how learning, assessment, and feedback really works. The Level 4 Certificate in Education and Training builds on that if you already are teaching. There is also a Level 3 Assessor's qualification for anyone involved in assessment decisions. All of these qualifications are built around real teaching practice, not just theory. So if you want to learn more, visit developingeducatorsacademy.com/SIBTAC. Teaching digital literacy in the age of ChatGPT requires a shift in how we see our role. We are not here to compete with AI. We are here to teach judgment, understanding, and application. That might mean asking learners to explain their work verbally, focusing more on reflection, or designing tasks that require personal examples. These are strong teaching practices anyway. AI has simply made them more visible and more necessary. I want to be really clear about this. AI doesn't replace educators who know how to teach thinking. This actually highlights how important that skill is. If you can help learners understand ideas, question information, apply knowledge to real situations, your role is not disappearing, it's evolving. If you feel unsure about ChatGPT, does not mean you are behind, it means you care about teaching properly. Digital literacy is now part of the educator role, not as an add-on, but as a core skill. And once you accept that, the fear starts to fade. If this episode resonated, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another educator who is asking the same question. These conversations matter, and they are essential when we have them together. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you are learning, your learners are learning, and that's exactly how education should work. Remember, you are no rookie in the game of life. I'll see you on the next episode.